This is Drew Davison alongside Leonard Firestone, co-founder of TX Whiskey, and out here at the old Glen Garden Country Club. And Leonard, you guys have preserved the golf course while building a beautiful whiskey facility. Kind of talk about why you guys decided to preserve the golf course and how important that was to you.
It was really important. Because Byron Nelson and Ben Hogan grew up here, they were caddies and then learned how to play the game on this golf course, on this dirt, in this place. We just thought that was, and it is, extraordinary golf history. As an asset of Fort Worth, we thought that was something that we couldn't destroy. We couldn't lose that. So when we set out to build the property, we talked with the guys that had owned the property for a long time, the course, and said, we're only going to affect about 30% of it, and the rest we would very much like to preserve. And that's what we've done. So we've changed a few of the holes. We built 2 new holes. We've got 3 new greens. We did 9 new tee boxes. It's now a par 68 where it was a 71. It's a little over 5,000 yards long. It's a lot of fun. And again, we've preserved the history, and now we think we can perpetuate it with all the visitors that come to the distillery.
Right. Well, and you kind of talked about rerouting and some of the changes you guys made. I played it earlier today. Score doesn't need to be stated, but number 6, you guys built that new par 3, gorgeous hole with tall grass, high grass, challenging hole, tight green, but still. This is a good track, and it'll be open, as you said, for charity events and as well for private functions.
Yeah, special events, private events. It will. What's interesting now that we've been out there quite a bit and really trying to appreciate the architecture and what they did. This was built in 1912, so it's old school by definition. And in the new greens we built, Glen Garden was known for having very small sand kind of push-up greens. So we kept consistent with that, maybe a little too small in a couple instances. But it's fun, it's challenging. You'll see a lot of different shots that you don't really get these days with a lot of the more contemporary courses. The setting is really pretty remarkable.
Well, and as you said, Ben Hogan, Byron Nelson, Kathy Whitworth, they all learned the game of golf here. Some Fort Worth golfing legends who became international golf superstars. So, when you think of that, how important was it for this? And when you look at the tavern, you guys have some of the golf memorabilia. How important of a tie is that, especially when you think of all the tours that could be coming through here, all the people visiting Fort Worth who are going to check out this distillery?
Yeah, it was very important because there are different constituencies and different interests of people that are visiting Fort Worth, right? And even globally speaking, that are golfing fans. And I can't tell you how many calls we've gotten from folks that are just writing a story on Ben Hogan and know that Glen Garden was part of his history. Could they come by and just walk around and see the environment? So it was important for how we could publicize the facility and to reach that audience. Clearly, golfers and whiskey have a unique bond, potentially. You could describe it that way, but certainly there's an affinity that one has for the other. So we felt like that worked well. And so when we go out and speak to different audiences, when we get coverage from different publications, we're hitting these different constituencies with, hey, there's this attraction in Fort Worth. For some, that's a reason to come to Fort Worth. That's a reason to come to DFW. And we love that for the tourism aspect. When conventions are in town and they're looking for something to do, that's unique to this place, to Fort Worth, this will certainly be on the list. And the Convention and Tourism Bureau has already told us that. Because this is a place that you cannot find anywhere else in the world, with a history you cannot find anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, well, and of course, whenever you want to do something new, there is always a little bit of backlash or whatnot, but how have the neighbors received you guys? And it seems like, you know, with the state-of-the-art largest distillery west of the Mississippi, yep. It seems like a pretty nice phrase there.
Yeah, no, I think it's terrific now. 2 years ago, I think people were nervous about change. And here was a course that had been here, a club that was built in 1912, so it had been here and part of this community for over 100 years. And when we started talking about change, and nobody knew what to expect, obviously that would cause some discomfort. And so I think what we said at the time was, we're going to build something special. We care about this community directly around us and the broader community, and we're going to build a place, and we're a company that people are going to be proud of. You'll be proud of it. You know, give us that opportunity. And so now, fast forward a couple of years, I think people have now seen what we've done, both in our construction, how we're taking care of the property, how we're preserving it, how we're making it better. Honestly, by taking care of it, that we've gotten a lot of compliments, and we feel the support coming.
And finally, talk about your first passion, obviously the whiskey. When can the public start taking tours here, and what can they expect?
Yeah, so we'll be open for public tours November 10th, which I think is a Thursday, and we're going to have them Thursday and Fridays till the end of the year. What they can expect is to see, a campus and a facility that you'll want to enjoy for a couple hours. You'll see, obviously, where we make a beautiful whiskey, or we'll soon be making a beautiful whiskey, and learn how we do that, the process, the care that goes into it, and the craft that goes into it. You'll see a large rickhouse, which is a barrel barn where we age the whiskey and our bourbon. And then you'll be able to go into a great tavern called TX Tavern, see some of the wonderful Nelson and Hogan memorabilia. We've got a really cool retail shop, an event space, some outdoor fireplaces, a courtyard to enjoy, where I think people will want to just sit and relax. And I think the primary reason they'll want to do that is we have arguably the best view of downtown Fort Worth in the entire Metroplex, certainly, of course, in Fort Worth, and one that we revealed because we're up on a bluff looking back to downtown, and there was a lot of overgrowth, probably 75 years of brush and trees and so forth, that we kind of pulled back a curtain that we look straight at downtown, and it's spectacular.
All right, thank you, Leonard Firestone of TX Whiskey. I'm Drew Davison of the Star Telegram. Thanks for tuning in.